Nocturnal Animals has been a much anticipated film for me for a long time. A large part of this is because of the cast. It has some of my favourite actors involved. Nonetheless, it was worth the wait. It left an impression on me like any other film I've seen this year. It is certainly an interpretive piece of cinema. With its intricate story and detailed direction, Tom Ford was able to present two interesting narratives in a unique way. It had a very detailed style of direction, and clearly a lot of effort was put into how it was shot, as well as how much detail was put into each scene, especially the way the narrative was structured. At the same time, the storytelling is nuanced and works on almost every level. Be able to have such care for the storytelling and direction is anything but impressive. I know very little about Tom Ford as a director, but he has some genuine talent. The acting is fantastic. Amy Adams gives one of her best performances, and it's truly one of the best of the year. Her character is complex, but when you combine it with such a great performance, you can't get any better. The mannerisms and how nuanced her approach was to the portrayal of her character was honestly fantastic. With this and their arrival, she'll be finished in the year in a great way. Both Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Shannon deliver us to no surprise. They're both great actors, and I expect nothing less from them. What surprised me was how good Aaron Paul Taylor was in this. I've always known him as that random guy from Kick-Ass, but he owned every moment he was on screen. He played this massive scumbag and it worked effectively. The cinematography is brilliant, aiming at both a sharp and crisp look to it. In fact, all of the camera work was superb. Each story has its own look, from the harsh reality that is Amy Adams' fashion work to the great revenge story. Tom Ford's knowledge in the fashion industry clearly has an influence on how good his technical work is. I found both stories to be as interesting as each other. The way the film ended could not have fit any perfectly. It reminded me of the Neon Demon in the sense it had some similar themes, but actually had the direction and the story to tell, which the Neon Demon didn't have. There are one or two nitpicks I do have. Some of the visual symbolism and the connections to the other story are pretty obvious at times, like almost in your face, like spelled out to you. It was hard to miss, and it was almost like the director was waving it in your face. Nocturnal Animals finally gave me something to think about. A lot of what has been released in cinema recently has been rather saturated, from superhero shit to comedies. Overall, this was a treat to sit through. Can't wait to see what the director is working on next.